tonight to talk about my farm and Prairie Land CSA. I'll start with my farm. My husband and I and our oldest son, Wes, who's now 22, own and operate a farm near Watseka, Illinois. It has been in my husband's family nearly 100 years. It is approximately 100 acres in size, and some may not be familiar how big an acre is. It's approximately the same size as a football field. So 60 acres is tillable, 40 acres of it is timber pasture land along the Iroquois River on the northwest side of Watseka. And on our farm we raise grass-fed beef and lamb, pasture-raised Tamworth pork, we raise pasture-raised chickens, ducks, turkeys. We have a large flock of laying hens that range free on the pasture that produce the eggs on our farm. In 1985, my husband and I started raising vegetables as natural as possible. It started out with like a half-acre garden, and now the garden is close to 20 acres in size. We raise a large variety of vegetables. If it's in a seed catalog and can be raised in central Illinois, it's been tried on our farm. We also raise a limited amount of fruit. We do some melons, watermelons, cantaloupe, a few blueberries. All of our products that we raise on our farm are sold directly to the consumer. This is our 21st season that we'll be at the Urbana Farmers Market. Our Wes was 6 months old when we attended our first farmers market here in Urbana. So our boys have grown up at the market. This will be our 5th season that we will be vendors at a farmers market held on Sundays in Frankfort, Illinois. For those unfamiliar, Watseka is halfway between Champaign, Urbana, and Chicago. So I actually market on both sides of Watseka. In 2003, our family was asked by a group here within the Champaign-Urbana area if we would produce vegetables for Prairie Land CSA. And what Prairie Land CSA is, it's a group of residents within the Champaign-Urbana area that formed a group in 1994 to find a source of pesticide-free local produce for their community. For those unfamiliar, CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture. So an easy way to describe a CSA, it's like buying a subscription to a magazine. You pay for it in advance. You know it's going to be delivered at a certain time, but you're just not sure what's going to be in each delivery. So that is pretty well describing the CSA. Prairie Land CSA actually runs just a little bit different than other CSAs. Other CSAs are farmers that are going out to find patrons or shareholders for their farm. Prairie Land CSA was actually a core group of shareholders, lost their farmer, went searching for another farmer, and held together as a core group. So other CSAs that you may read about in publications and on websites ask the shareholders donate labor as part of their share. We don't require that because our farm is over an hour, about an hour and 20 minutes away. So a subscription or a share is $400 per season, and it's been the same value for about the last 3 years now. It runs for a 20-week season. This year it will run from May 12th to September 20th. Of that $400, my family receives $385 of that. $15 then stays in the CSA financial account to run the website, pay for the post office box, and to do some other administrative costs. We do it sometimes if a family should run into hardship within our share. We will sponsor a scholarship or a sponsored share, and we donate out of that fund so that a family that has been a member can remain a member. Each week, so some of you have probably already done the math, $400 divided by 20 weeks is roughly $20 worth of produce per week. It doesn't run exactly like that because we don't, in an early season in Illinois weather, we may not have $20 worth of produce ready the first week of May or the second week of May. So it runs sort of like in a bell curve. The first 2 to 3, possibly 4 weeks, depending on the weather, it may be $8 to $10 worth of produce, the lettuce, the radishes, the greens that we can raise in the greenhouse. But then during peak season, when the crops are bountiful in August, late July, August, and September, a value of the share may be running $22 to $31 of what it's been, because you're getting watermelon, 6 ears of sweet corn, 8 to 10 tomatoes. So with your delivery, each week, not only do you receive your vegetables, but you also receive a newsletter. It's usually by email for those that are totally hooked to the web like this community. It will give you recipes. It will give you a list of everything in the share. So if there is something, some type of greens or Asian vegetable that you're not quite sure what it is, go to your newsletter. It will tell you what it's in the share. It will tell you how to store it, how to cook it, how to put it up if it should be something more than you can eat all in 1 week. So it's freezing tips. You'll receive a 1 or 2 sentence paragraph about what's happening on the farm, because the weather sometimes is a little different an hour and 20 minutes from here. We've received more rain, or we have very sandy soil, or we've had a hailstorm or wind. So you're keeping in touch with what's happening on the farm that's raising your food. The shares are delivered each week on a Wednesday. So that means on Monday and Tuesday, my husband and I and Wes are harvesting the vegetables. Tuesday afternoon, I'm counting out, I'm sorting, I'm dividing equally everything that was harvested among the shareholders. We have 2 drop-off sites. One is in Urbana and one is in Champaign, so it stays local for the community. Our one host family lets us use their garage as our drop-off site in Urbana. It's approximately a block and a half off of Lincoln Avenue. Our other drop-off site is in Champaign, and our host family lets us use their garage as a drop-off site, and it's 2.5 blocks off of Prospect Avenue. So both locations are easily accessible from main roads. The shareholders pick up their shares between the hours of 4 and 7 p.m., so you can pick it up on your way home from work or getting the kids from school. At 7 o'clock, though, the doors are locked so that our host family can get back to normal life and don't have people in and out of their garages. Anything not picked up then, we have volunteers within the group that will pick up the produce, rebox it, and it is all donated to local charities. The Eastern Illinois Food Bank, Catholic Worker House, the Greater Aid Society. We have a few families that the neighbors know within the neighborhood that really do need some food, so every couple of weeks we make sure those families get local produce. Most weeks we try to make sure that there is enough of one product so it will feed 2 adults, possibly 1 or 2 small children within a household. So that's pretty well what you can figure will be in a share. Like I said, peak seasons, you will be receiving extra produce. And most of our shareholders have said for their $400, they're eating well over 20 weeks because they put something in the freezer or dehydrated something, so they have more than enough to eat. If you'd like to learn more, I did bring brochures with my farm information. It has all the CSA information, contact information, websites. And I brought a photo of what one of the shares looked like about 2 to 3 years ago. So that's the general information about CSA.
Thanks, Diann. Erin? My name's Erin Harper. I'm a student at the University of Illinois, and I'm on Engineers Without Borders, or in Engineers Without Borders, I guess. We have an outreach group that usually builds